Hello, and welcome to the Opioid Awareness Training brought to you by the Prevention Training and Technical Assistance Service Center and your session facilitator. This session will help you learn about the opioid crisis facing the United States. Your facilitator will lead hands-on activities and critical thinking exercises about the opioid crisis facing the United States. At the end of this half hour, you will be able to 1. Discuss the current opioid epidemic and the danger of opioid abuse for adults and youth. 2. Develop talking points about the opioid epidemic and preventing opioid abuse. 3. Identifying at least 2 youth or adults in your social network who would benefit from a conversation with you about this information. Take notes or write down any questions you may have about the topic. Ready to get started? Let's begin. Your facilitator will play a short video that describes the opioid crisis. After the video, you will break into teams of 2 and talk about the key points. Let's watch the video.
The U.S. is in the midst of a public health crisis. Opioid overdose deaths are skyrocketing. Opioids include both prescription pain medications and illicit opioids like heroin. Each day in 2016, 115 Americans died from an opioid overdose. More than 42,000 lives lost that year. That's more deaths than from breast cancer, HIV/AIDS, or car crashes. How did this happen? And what can we do to fight this epidemic? Some opioid pain medications are available legally by prescription, such as oxycodone, hydrocodone, codeine, and morphine. However, some individuals don't follow their doctor's orders or use these medications to manage their pain over many years. After an extended period of use, it takes more of the drug to get the same pain relief and the accompanying pleasurable feeling. This is called drug tolerance. The development of tolerance often leads to opioid misuse and physical dependence. Physical dependence means that stopping the drug use will cause symptoms of withdrawal such as vomiting, chills, shaking, and sweating. How did pain management medication lead to a full-blown opioid overdose epidemic? During the 1980s and 90s, pharmaceutical companies emphasized the pain management features of opioids and downplayed the potential for addiction. Medical prescribers could write scripts for large quantities of pills that could last for an extended period of time, when used properly. Patient demand for these drugs surged, and in 2012, medical providers wrote 255 million scripts for pain. The availability and accessibility of pain medication changed the playing field across America for all age groups. Adults with extended prescriptions could take more pills than instructed. Prescriptions were handed out freely to young people for routine procedures like wisdom teeth surgery. Pills can be easily accessed in homes where prescription medications are not stored or disposed of properly, leaving them in the hands of vulnerable teens looking to feel better or young athletes under pressure to perform despite injuries. Youth face higher susceptibility to addiction because their brains are not yet fully developed. We know that the desire to feel euphoria, to feel less pain, and to avoid unpleasant withdrawal symptoms leads opioid addicts to search out other illegal opioids like heroin, especially when cost of prescription medication increases or medical prescribers limit access. One research study found that 80% of heroin addicts began their addiction with pain medication. Illegal opioids such as heroin are available on the street, but the quality and concentration of street drugs vary. They can be laced with other more potent substances, such as fentanyl, which is 100 times more powerful and deadly than morphine and can cause immediate overdose. The fight against opioid overdose is on, and there are ways that you can help. Many communities now offer overdose reversal training and access to Narcan, the overdose antidote, through police departments or coalitions. Laws now exist that limit how many opioid pills doctors can prescribe, decreasing the excess medication in people's homes. Prescribers can utilize the state's online prescription drug monitoring and reporting system, which allows them to see a patient's prescription history, which decreases the ability to doctor shop for more pills. What can you do to help reduce this public health crisis? Use medications only as directed, store medications in a safe or locked place, Dispose of all unused medication. Visit the Connecticut Department of Consumer Protection website to find a disposal box near you. Share your concern if you notice any behavior that might suggest an opioid misuse problem. Learn how to reverse an overdose with Narcan.
Understanding what caused this opioid crisis and its differences from past drug crises increase our ability to talk about the opioid problem and help reduce the extent of this crisis in our family and communities. Let's put this understanding to use by developing a small set of talking points from the video and our discussions that you can share with youths and adults you know. Divide into small teams with 2 or 3 people in each team. Write down the core message about the opioid misuse epidemic that you would share with youth and with adults. In crafting these messages, think about what words and messages you would be comfortable using in talking to youth or adults in your own social networks. Create messages that allow you to communicate with confidence. Your facilitator will ask each team to share some of their talking points so everyone can benefit from your work. What are your questions about this task? Today, you have learned more about the opioid crisis and risk factors that contribute to opioid use. You have developed talking points to share with youth and adults. Challenge each other to make a difference with this information. First, write down on a sticky note the names of at least 2 people, youth or adults in your social network that you believe will benefit from this information. Second, make a commitment to share your talking points with these 2 people in the next 14 days. Third, identify a family member, friend, colleague, or mentor that you can share your progress with and celebrate making a difference in your community. Finally, repeat this process as many times as possible. Just a few people can reach hundreds of people each year with this process. In addition to sharing your opioid overdose prevention's talking points with others, you can help address the opioid epidemic in your community by doing these 3 things. Store your medications safely in your home. Use safe disposal options to get rid of unused or outdated medications. Learn how to administer naloxone to reverse an opioid overdose. Need information about any of these options? Check with your facilitator or local prevention coalition coordinator to learn more. Thank you for volunteering your time to your community and the coalition to learn about the opioid epidemic and how to prevent opioid abuse. Your community benefits from you putting this knowledge to work. Thank you.